Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Enlightened Entrepreneur. This program is sponsored by World Outsourcing Solutions, which is a company based right here in the United Kingdom and specializes in providing virtual assistance to business owners around the world. Today, I'm so delighted to have a friend of mine who is a master when it comes to personal development, and she works with the likes of Bob Proctor. Now, Alpa Pandya is the founder and the CEO of Mind Matrix Coaching Limited. She is a business mindset coach, entrepreneur, BBC radio presenter, and a consultant within the Bob Proctor Galag Institute. She works very closely with legendary figure Bob Proctor. She's Bob's top 7 consultant worldwide. Welcome to the show, Alpa.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We're so delighted to have you here, and just you taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us about life. Really, we're so delighted to have you. Thank you.
No, as I say, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me as your guest. I'm really, really looking forward to speaking to you, sharing some of my strategies as well.
Absolutely. One of the reasons we wanted to have you on the show really is to talk about the business coaching and the lifestyle, because that's something that you and Bob Proctor do all the time, helping people achieve and become more.
That's right. So I have my own company, as you've mentioned, Mind Matrix Coaching Limited. And what we do is we help businesses, corporations, as well as individuals achieve success in any area or any goal that they're vested in. But really, I think before I got myself involved in this material, I didn't even know what a goal was, in the sense of, there are certain goals that we need to be going for, and there's certain goals that people set in their lives, which are the wrong goals. So we teach people in how to go for the right goals, and then how to actually manifest that into your physical life. Absolutely.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, before we get into the meat of all the goal setting and all these wonderful things, tell us a bit about yourself so, we can relate with you, where you were coming from, and how you got to doing what you're doing today.
Sure. So I'm a business mindset coach. I'm also an entrepreneur. And my passion is radio. So, from a very young age, from the age of 10, I knew I wanted to become a radio presenter. So I've worked with many, many stations, local BBC radio, national BBC radio stations, as well as commercial radio stations. So that's what I also do. But as well as that, as you've quite rightly said, I'm a consultant within the Proctor Gallagher Institute, and I work very closely with Bob Proctor. So how did it all start? Well, I literally fell into coaching. I fell into working with Bob Proctor in the sense that it's a long story, and I know we don't have too much time, but what I will tell you is that on one of my radio shows, and this is back in November 2013, I was interviewing a music producer on my show. And after the interview, we were just talking, and he said to me, have you seen The Secret? And I said, no. And he said, you really should watch this movie. And I said, okay, well, why should I be watching it? And he said, well, it's done a lot for me. Since watching the movie, he said, I've always wanted to be a successful music producer. I am one now. And he said, my other big goal was to emigrate to Australia. And he emigrated in December 2013. Wow. So I said, okay, well, great. It's done great for you. Now, I knew when The Secret came out. It came out in 2006, and I've been following people in the self-development industry for a good 10-11 years before The Secret came out. Right. So but nothing really was working for me. I had big goals, but I wasn't able to achieve any of those goals. So when The Secret came out, I decided not to watch it, and I decided not to read the book, because I just thought it was a lot of nonsense, which a lot of people do think that if they don't understand law of attraction or universal laws, which we're all governed by the way. So anyway, he asked me to watch the movie, and one day I decided to watch it. And the one person that resonated with me, for those people who've watched The Secret, there's so many motivational speakers on there. But it was when Bob Proctor came on and he started talking, whatever he was saying started resonating with me. It started making a lot of sense. And there and then, with a lot of conviction, I said, I'm going to meet this man and I'm going to work with him. That's all I said.
Incredible. I love your mention of conviction, because that's the key there.
But again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt so passionate about meeting this man that I just said it out there, and then quite loud, that I'm going to meet him, I'm going to work with him. So that was in December 2013. I actually met him in August 2014. And that's when my whole life transformed. And again, meeting him was a little bit of a struggle. He's a A-list character, A-list personality, celebrity, so it's not very easy to get hold of him. So I started following his videos and started implementing certain things and techniques that he was teaching and showing. And I started seeing a shift in my life. And as well as a radio presenter, I used to also work in a call center, as a call center advisor.
Yes.
So I had 2 jobs that I was holding down, and I used to hate that job. I was in that job for 14 years of my life.
Wow.
And just by following some of the steps that Bob talks about, I managed to quit my call center job in March 2014. I messaged his company and I said, I'm a BBC radio presenter. I want to meet Bob Proctor. I want to interview him. Now, they didn't respond back to me very easily or very quickly. It took them 4.5 months to actually reply back to my email. And then they said to me, he's doing a seminar in Toronto in August. You can have 10 minutes with him. Obviously, you're going to have to fly out here if you want to meet him. So that is the price that I had to pay to meet him.
Wow, the price worth paying, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I was willing to do that. And so I'd quit my call center job. I didn't really have a lot of money when I met him. And I met him in August 2014. And what he actually said to me was, literally, it was just for 10 minutes. And he said to me, what do you want? And I said, I want freedom of time and I want financial freedom. 2 big things that most people want in their lives, right?
Correct, yes.
And he said, well, what do you love? And I said, well, I love helping people. I love my radio work, but there's something else that I want to do. I don't know what it is. And he said, well, will you do what I tell you? And I got really scared because I thought, I've just met this man. I really don't know that much about him. What is he going to ask me to do? And more importantly, how much is it going to cost me?
Correct.
So I said, reluctantly, I said yes. And he sensed that. And he said, Alpa, you need to be serious and you need to look at the results that you're getting in your life. He said, everything you've told me right now, they're a manifestation of your thoughts. And he said, what do you think is going to change if you keep on doing the same thing? And that's when it hit me in the stomach, because he was absolutely right. Up until then, I was doing everything my way and nothing really was working for me. I was getting incremental gains, but I wasn't seeing big results in my life. And so I said, yes, I'm willing and I'm able to do whatever you're telling me to do. So he asked me to get involved in his company. And he asked me to go through a process, which is a process that I now teach businesses and individuals in how to achieve the goals and desired results that they want in their lives. And the first thing I asked him was, how much is it going to cost me?
That's the normal question that you know when you are in that transition mood to ask.
And he said, what does it matter how much it's going to cost you? He goes, what is it going to cost you if you don't? And he's so true that, you know, we live our lives by our 5 senses, what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch, and what we smell. And we make our decisions based on what our bank balance is telling us. Okay. But what we fail to understand is our bank balance is not going to stay in a minus figure permanently. We can change that bank balance. We actually made that bank balance into a minus figure. We can create it into a plus figure as well. That's one of the key secrets that I've learned from Bob, that we should never let money dictate what we should and what we shouldn't do. You know, money is our servant. We are the master of the money. So I decided to take on what he said. He loved what I was doing, and then he asked me to become a member of his organization. And I'm proud to now say, and very humbled to say, that I am one of his top 7 consultants worldwide.
Outstanding. And this just happened within a very short space of time.
Yeah, literally within 18 months, I've transformed my life.
Incredible. Let's talk about, what you had to go through during that time, because you were talking to a mentor at that time, somebody who's done this for a long time and who's transformed a lot of people, including my own life.
Yeah.
What was going through? How did you get over, the fear that is this going to work? Am I going to follow what Bob is saying? Tell us about that.
Really interesting question, and a very good question, because like I said, I was very scared. I didn't really know him or anything about him. I had just kind of met him really and seen his YouTube videos. So I was very, very scared, and he could sense that I was scared, which is why, now if you've ever met Bob, he's one of those people that he likes to make decisions just like that. And he expects other people to make decisions just like that, because he actually quotes Napoleon Hill. And he says that successful people make decisions very quickly and change them very slowly, if at all. It's the people who procrastinate and keep going back and forth. Those people are the unsuccessful people, right? So he likes you to make decisions just like that. If you're going to work with him, you need to know exactly what you want, and you need to say yes to him. So when he said to me, and he kind of raised his voice and he said, you need to be sure about what you want. And he said, you're telling me you want X, Y, and Z. You want financial freedom. You want freedom of time. What do you think is going to change if you keep on continuing doing what you're doing? So he said, you've tried it your way, do it my way. And that's when I thought, you know what, I've got to go in with a leap of faith here. This guy knows what he's talking about. I've implemented some of the stuff that he's been telling me. It's worked. So what have I got to lose? Right? Okay, I might lose a bit of money. I might lose a bit of time. But I'm going to lose that anyway. I'm going to spend my money, whatever I spend my money on, over the 6 months or 12 months. I'm going to spend my time on whatever I spend my time on. Right? So this is investing it in me. And this was the first time ever that I invested in myself. Wow. And invested in a mentor. In that sense, yes, I've followed people. I've subscribed to various programs and I've followed MP3s. But this was a big investment. It was a big commitment for me. So I went in with blind faith. But by going in with blind faith, 6 major things happened for me. Right. The first thing was I quit my call center job of 14 years. Now that job, I was earning £40,000 a year. People in my family and my friends were saying, what are you doing quitting a job where literally you're just sitting on your bum, taking calls and you're earning 40 grand? Why would you want to quit a job like that? Who's going to pay you 40,000 just by sitting on your bum? And I said, that doesn't matter. It's not the money. Sometimes you have to take the cut, because I was being controlled. If you've ever worked in a call center, you are controlled. You get annual leave, but that leave is not yours. It needs to be authorized. You need to have permission if you want to go on holiday or take a day off or go and see the doctor or whatever. So I didn't want to be controlled anymore.
Right.
And that's the reason why I quit that job. And it's the best thing that I've done. So I've learned a lot from Bob that sometimes you do need to take a pay cut in order for you to then reap the rewards elsewhere and make back that money. And now, I've increased my income by 35%.
Wow.
So, it's you've got to take and you've got to learn from these people who've made the mistakes themselves, right? But who can then teach you as well. Because Bob always says, go to somebody who can show you and demonstrate by results how you can achieve what it is that you want to achieve, until you find out that person is lying or doesn't know what they're talking about. Now, we all know Bob doesn't lie, and he knows what he's talking about.
Well, he's done it for years.
Yeah. And so I just went in with blind faith. So that's the first thing that happened for me. I quit my call center job before I even met him. Secondly, I've set up 3 online businesses. I've found my purpose, which is the biggest thing now that I'm helping people and coaching people in achieving their results and their goals. I travel 4 to 5 times a year now. I've got a passion in traveling. So that's what I do. I can take a vacation whenever I want. And then the 6th thing was that I've bought my dream car, which was a Porsche 911 Carrera. I bought that last year. And that's the car that I've been dreaming about from the age of 16, 17. Wow. Right? So, and that's all I was doing, dreaming about it, but never thought that I could actually have that car, own it, drive it, and have it on my driveway, because nobody in my family has ever driven a car like that. It was just, a wild dream. But I've made that happen for me because I've known how to work with universal laws, and I've learned the secret. There is no secret, really. There's a system. And as soon as you know that system, there's a science behind riches. There's a science behind success. And once you understand that, you can implement that, and things can start changing.
Outstanding. Really appreciate sharing that, because I know that there will be people listening to this that, they have a mentor in front of them, or they've been playing with the idea of going to a mentor, having somebody look into their lives, but they're not quite there yet. Maybe, what would you say to somebody like that, maybe in just a few words?
Somebody who's looking for a mentor, you mean?
Correct. And, is not gotten that courage to step out and get the mentor right away.
Well, the piece of advice that I would give you is that nobody ever did it alone. If you think that you can achieve success on your own, you're being very naive. Because if you look at all the successful people, and I don't care who they are, whether they're athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, any successful person you look at, they have all got mentors. Okay, Bob Proctor has got a mentor. Oprah Winfrey is a lady that I idolize so much. She recently said she had 2 mentors. Dalai Lama said Mahatma Gandhi was his mentor. Einstein had a mentor that he had lunch with every Thursdays, right? All these great people, they've all had mentors. Nobody did it on their own. So you have to have somebody who can show you the way. And like I said earlier, go to somebody who can show you and has demonstrated by results how to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And you're on the right path. Why would you want to go alone anyway? Why wouldn't you want to learn from the experts, the people who have made things happen for themselves from nothing? I don't know how many of your listeners know much about Bob Proctor, but he came from nothing. He had no formal education. He was very poor. He had no business sense. He was a very negative person when he first started off, but he's now a multi-millionaire. He's got businesses in like 57 countries, if not more. So, if he can do it, anybody can do it. The only difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is your mindset, right? There's no difference between myself or you, or Bob Proctor and you. It's how you see yourself, and it's your thoughts that create your life.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Well, you mentioned, about the universal laws. I remember listening to one of Bob's tapes before, and it really impacted my life. Can we talk about maybe 1 or 2 of those universal laws, that are in line with the coaching program you facilitate?
Yeah, well, there's so many, but I think my favorite is the law of vibration. And it's the law of vibration, which is the primary law. If we go back to The Secret got it slightly wrong because it made people think that the law of attraction is the primary law, and it isn't. It's what you vibrate at. What emotion are you feeling? What level are you vibrating at? And that's what you attract back to yourself. So the primary law is the law of vibration, and it all starts off with your vibration. Everything in this universe vibrates. The universe vibrates, right? If you put your hand out right now, that's vibrating. It's not still, it's moving. Everything moves. Therefore, we are living in a vibration world. So it's your vibration that you're putting out is what you're attracting back to yourself. And that's something that we actually teach in the process that I teach clients who work with me, the primary law, the law of vibration, and how it actually works.
Outstanding. And, understanding that, it helps you, take necessary steps to move your life to certain goals. In line with that, we mentioned about the goals that people go after and the goals that people go after, but they shouldn't be going after. Can you talk to us about that for a moment?
In our organization, we break them down into A-type goals, B-type goals, and C-type goals.
Right.
Now, if I was to say to you, which goal would you go for? Would you go for an A, B, or C? Which one would you choose?
A.
And that 99% of us would look at A, because A is like the primary, like first letter of the alphabet, and we think an A-class goal is the goal we should be going for. But actually, that's the wrong answer. I mean, A-type goals are those goals that you've already achieved, something you know how to do. For example, let's just say you've got a Mercedes-Benz car, right? Now, you bought that new 4 years ago. Now you're thinking of upgrading that to the next model. Why would you want to set yourself a goal like that? You already know how to do that. That's not going to stretch you in any way. You've already done it, right? So that's the wrong type of goal to go for. Then people, what they do is they move on to B-type goals. Now, these are kind of goals that where you're going sideways. And these are goals where people get bored because there's no motivation. So, you'll set yourself out a plan, and you'll say, if I get this, this, and this, then I can get to this point, right? But sooner or later, you get demotivated, life gets in the way, and you decide that, forget it, you don't want to go after that goal. And so nobody does anything about that goal. Again, they're the wrong type of goals. Sideways you're going in life. You're not going onwards and upwards. So most people set themselves B-type goals, which are the wrong goals. Now, the type of goals that we work with, and people who come to me, I work with you with, is your goals to do with C-type goals, which are your dreams, really. It's your dreams that really get your juices flowing. It's your dreams that get you motivated. Things that you really, really want to achieve, but you feel is out of your reach for whatever reason. And it's those dreams that we help you manifest, because it's your C-type goals, your dreams, that are going to stretch you. And why do we have goals? We have goals to grow. The ultimate reason for us to have goals is for the person that we become. All right. We always want to stretch ourselves. That's the reason why we set ourselves goals. So a weak goal generates weak results, and most people set themselves weak goals. So a goal you haven't thought through is a weak goal, or worse, aren't aware of, right? It could deliver exactly what you don't want, and that's what people tend to entertain. But a worthy goal is joyfully formed and articulatedly expressed, and it's the first and most crucial step towards creating the results that you want. So what we help you do is clarify your goal with absolute precision.
Outstanding. I like when you say, clarify those, not until I learned from, I think it was Jim Rohn, and I know Bob teaches about that, I had to make my goals really, really clear, and then have step by step or a structured way of getting to that goal. Before that, I just thought I would reach, £10,000 a month as a goal, but I had no clear structure. I did not have a vehicle that I had planned it's going to take me there. How do you set goals?
Well, you've got to harmonize your goal with the natural laws of the universe, right? So the universe is alive, right, as we know, with forces designed to deliver to you whatever you truly desire. That's the key. You've got to truly want whatever you're going for. So harmonize your goal clearly. Once you're fully aligned with the natural flow of these forces, then you can prepare yourself for an influx of opportunity and an abundance unlike anything you've experienced before. But you've got to be crystal clear about what it is that you want. So, for example, if it's a new home that you want, right? I don't know, you might want to buy £1 million home, right? Well, what does that home look like? What do the slates of the bricks look like? What do the roof tiles look like? What do the windows look like? That's what we mean when we're talking about crystal clear precision of knowing exactly what that home is looking like. What is the interior like? How is it furnished? What is the glassware like? What are your bedrooms looking like? What is the color scheme? All of that needs to be intricate for you to manifest that into your life.
Outstanding. And why is it so important to have it like this clear?
If you're not clear about your goal, if you're not clear about your vision, then you could end up getting something that in your mind you wanted, but you weren't crystal clear about. So you could end up with something that you didn't want. So it's really, really important. There's that famous quote, ask and it's given, and it is given, but you've got to ask in a particular way, but you've got to be certain and you've got to be very careful about what you're asking, because you will get exactly what you ask for.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. In my opinion, goal setting is one of those important aspects of running any business. If you get this part first right, the other things, seemingly fall into place. And I really appreciate you, Alpa, sharing those little nuggets about goal setting. Let's talk to you as a business person for a moment. You run online business like this. Would like to take you back to when you got started. What were those roadblocks or challenges that you feel could have been avoided if you know what you know today?
I think those roadblocks always come, but you get better in dealing with them.
Right.
So I don't think we ever kind of stop those roadblocks, because again, the bigger you stretch yourself, the bigger the blocks are going to be. But how did I overcome them? Well, the first thing is that you've got to have order in your mind. You've got to be very clear about what it is that you want in your life. And if I go back, then I would be very, very grateful if I was told that you need a good team around you to build your business, because setting up a business can be quite hard work, especially if you don't know how to go about it. But that shouldn't stop you, because once you are passionate about what it is that you want to do, and you are in harmony with your goal, and you're in the right vibration, then the right people will come to you, the right resources will come to you, all the expertise will come to you at the right time. But you've got to believe that you can achieve, right? So I didn't really have too many roadblocks, because I had a great mentor to go back on, who personally mentored me. So I could always go back to him and talk to him about certain things that I was facing. But other than that, I think for me, the roadblock that I had was knowing where to get the right people from, knowing how to build the right team around you, because it's really, really important to have the right team around you. If you don't have a right team, your business can fall apart. Absolutely.
And, there's a misconception about, self-made millionaire. You've heard about that. But, really, like you said earlier on, there are no, individual success or an island of success. If you have a great team around you, and you work well with people, because it's all about people, they will help you to achieve your goals as well. Alpa, I know because of our time here that people would love to connect with you at some level. How can they do that?
They can connect with me various different levels. First and foremost is, if you would like to know more about what I do, and if you would like for me to assist you in any way, then I'm happy for you to email me, and that is alpa@mindmatrix.com. And matrix is spelled with a double X. I'm sure you can give that email address out later as well. You can also visit my website, which is mindmatrix.com, and you can fill out the form there, and one of my team will get in touch with you within 24 hours. And we can set up, at the moment I am offering 30 to 45 minutes complimentary rapid change strategy sessions, where you can book yourself in for that, and I will help you crystallize your goal, which is very, very, very important. I'll give you a roadmap of how you can achieve that goal, and you'll leave the session feeling re-energized and rejuvenated and clear about what it is that you want to achieve in your life. So that is something that I am offering complimentary, a 30-minute to 45-minute strategy session. All you need to do is visit the website mindmatrix.com and fill out the form, and my team will be in touch with you.
Incredible. And talking about mindset, what is the right mindset a business owner or an individual for that matter to have when they're going to communicate with a coach or getting a mentor, for them to have more chances of success?
There's three things that I look for or that I ask for when somebody comes to work with me. I'm very selective with who I work with. And the first thing is that you've got to be coachable. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for coaches, but they also think that they know it all. Therefore, they're not willing to take direction from anybody. Now, if you're not willing to take direction, then you're going to fail. And that's the first thing that I learned from Bob. And he is you've got to be a good leader, you've got to be a good follower. And he is very, very hot on this. I also host seminars, and Bob actually came to one of my seminars via a live stream. I told him what I wanted him to do, what I wanted him to say, when I wanted him to come. So he was able to take direction from me, right? So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about leadership and follower. You've got to be a good leader, but you've got to be a good follower as well. So anybody who comes to work with me and anybody who I coach, you've got to be a good follower and be able to take instructions and direction and be coachable. That's first and foremost. Secondly is you've got to value my time. And I think time is very, very important. If you just have a look at, why are so many people late for interviews or appointments or whatever? And then there's some people who are always on time. It's all to do with your mindset. It's all to do with a word that I'm going to use, which maybe your listeners may not have heard of, but I'm sure you have, UK, paradigms, right? It's our habitual way of thinking. And it's your paradigms that control you. Your paradigms actually control the way you meet and greet people, the way you talk, the way you behave, your businesses, your relationships. So you've got to have good value of time as well. So that's the other thing that I ask for when somebody comes to work with me or I'm coaching somebody. So they're the two things. So you've got to be coachable, you've got to be able to value time, and you've got to be open. You've got to be open to the information that we're teaching you. You've got to be open to the way that we're teaching you, because that's really, really key. You've got to be open to information and new information which you may not have heard about, information which you may not agree with. But this stuff works because it's been used by 500 of the most successful people that ever lived. So that's good for me. If 500 of the most successful people have used this system and this strategy that we are using, then I think that is like gold dust to me.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much, Alpa. That was amazing, and I love every moment of that. And I would like to thank you for taking time to talk to us about these processes. And if you are listening, check out mindmatrix.com. To get in touch with Alpa. And the way you spell that is mindmatrix.com, and you'll be able to connect with Alpa. Here's the thing: success leaves clue, and over 500 people, successful people, have gone through the training that Alpa and Uncle Bob, as I would like to call him, teaches these things. Some of these things, have impacted my life. When I was going through Bob Proctor's, paradigm shift program. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you to go connect with Alpa while you can. And there's a complimentary call as well, so you can test it out and see how it works. With that said, thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to spending more quality time with another expert very, very soon. Hey, Alpa, really appreciate you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
We want to wish you all the success in your next project.